Joe Burrow goes down. The Chiefs are 0-2, and the Colts are 2-0. Is Daniel Jones legit? We got a lot to break down here today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Krabs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate you all being here very, very much.
Joe, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Victory Monday to those who are celebrating, as always, here on the program. Kind of a wild week, too. A lot of really interesting results. Some haymaker games that went back and forth. Get spam calls on a Monday morning. Where do you want to start? You want to start with, I guess, obviously, we have to start with really unfortunate news out of Cincinnati, where Joe Burrow, I guess it's now being reported within the hour of us sitting down to do this, that he is going to have the season, not season ending, but he's going to have the surgery on the turf toe ligament tear that he suffered in week 2.
Yeah, 3 months is what he's expected to miss. And let's pause. The Bengals are 2-0, right? So
they are.
That's different, right? That's good for them. That's what they wanted. Obviously,
at what cost?
Yeah, well, that's the problem, right? And Jake Browning has got some experience, obviously, and they were able to win this game despite him coming off the bench and throwing 3 interceptions, and maybe that leads to some bigger questions about Jacksonville. But here you are. I mean, you got the fast start that you wanted with the 2-0 buffer, but now you're without Joe Burrow, and I think we always looked at as the Cincinnati team as one that would have a tough time making it with Joe Burrow. Now they have to do this with Jake Browning at quarterback, and I struggle to believe that they're going to catch lightning in a bottle. They need more out of their defense that already has questions, which I think in some ways has played better than maybe you thought. But, I mean, this path forward for Cincy and Jake Browning and their next 2 games being at Minnesota, at Denver, the Detroit Lions, at Green Bay, then the Steelers. I mean, this is a tough stretch ahead for Cincinnati without Joe Burrow, and obviously just another injury in Joe Burrow's resume that makes you play the what-if game, right, already. And this guy's got a lot of football left to play, but it seems like there's just a lot of injuries and a lot of setbacks when it comes to his run here with Cincinnati.
So it's interesting for me in this regard, where we know how Joe Burrow likes to play football, right? And in some ways, how they've chosen to construct the roster and run the offense leans into what Joe really likes to do. You go back to LSU, right? And the empty protections and being able to see the field and the stress that puts on an offensive line, especially when you have that big play psychology that Joe has at times. And I think you can look at other offenses across the league that, in the midst of tailoring to the strengths of your orchestrator, like the limitations and the risks that think of every Shanahan offense, right? Almost every Shanahan offense, the 49ers and the Dolphins in particular, those systems with the boot game and the nakeds and the ball hand, like there's all kinds of things that they tried to do to manipulate the front to create numbers advantages and angles. And this is a different version of that, because this is a lot more, hey, we're just going to go empty. We're going to let Joe be Joe and process the field. But you're leaning into what he does so well, but it continues to rear its head with these protection issues. And I think that's the really frustrating part of it for a team building perspective, is you're doing the right thing, leaning into what this player does best and is some of his superpowers that makes him one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But in continuing to do so, you're playing a brand of football that continues to put him at a higher than average risk of continuing to take more hits than the average quarterback.
Well, in Cincinnati's just not a team that has been able to run the ball under Zach Taylor, and that's going to be.
They don't want to run the ball.
Well, that's a problem, right? That
and that's
when
what
you
I'm
talk about,
yeah.
I mean, especially now where that needs to be an identity piece for what you need to do moving forward. In addition to playing defense, and you don't have a defense, and you don't have a rushing offense, it's a tough script here for Cincinnati moving forward, despite starting 2-0.
So, and let's remember too. Jake Browning, when he first got that start opportunity, remember that big comeback win they had against Jacksonville in overtime?
Yeah.
In 23. After that moment, he kind of regressed to the mean a little bit, where, I mean, they had a win against Minnesota in overtime. They lose to Pittsburgh and Kansas City. They get outscored 69-28 in those two games combined. He's got 3 interceptions against Pittsburgh. He passes for under 200 yards and was sacked 6 times against Kansas City. That's kind of the concern, right? It's like when he first came in, it was that fresh chunk of new orchestrator running the offense. We're going to do some different things and get some wrinkles. And then the longer it goes, it's like, okay, that's why he's a backup quarterback, right?
Right.
And you're looking at maybe 15 games, 15 and a half games. So that's where you just look at the outlook for Cincinnati. It's a big punch in the gut, and it's a big punch in the gut for the league, right? Where like we unanimously, everybody who does football media had this as a top 4 quarterback in the NFL. It was just an order of preference of what order you wanted him to put amongst his peers.
I mean, look at their next 4. After you get past this Vikings game on Sunday, they have 2 primetime games in 2 425 game of the weeks, right? I mean, the Lions and Packers, that's a prime jewel spot for an NFL Sunday is 425. And they were expecting a lot of Joe Burrow. And
then you get after the bye, and it's Thursday at Baltimore, 425 at Buffalo, Sunday Night Football in Miami.
Well, injuries are an unfortunate part of the NFL. I wish you can turn them off. It's frustrating to see it happen, especially for this team. You feel like there's probably Joe Burrow is probably one of the most indispensable players out there, and he's going to miss 3 months. All right, we got a whole lot more to do here, including a conversation about the 0-2 Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes, 3 losses in a row. We'll talk about that here next, folks. Be sure to stick with us. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. I've been playing Prize Picks lately, and it's such a fun way to stay locked in for the season. And I love checking the projections like Josh Allen for more or less than 270 passing yards, or Saquon Barkley for more or less than 1 rushing touchdown. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 on lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 on lineups after you play your first $5. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
You know, my favorite tweet was over the weekend.
What you got?
You've been keeping up with the Pablo Torre Clippers saga at all?
Not even a little. Don't even know anything about it.
So Pablo, you know who Pablo Torre
I do know him. Yeah, Pablo finds out, right? Is that
sports journalist? He did the whole Belichick thing this summer.
Yeah.
I guess the Clippers had gone through some sham company with a sham agreement for Kawhi Leonard when they signed Kawhi as a free agent to like circumvent the salary cap and had like $24 million or something and that of like extra compensation that the Clippers allegedly went through, and he's been pulling all the receipts. Pablo Torre has.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's pretty much. So now the NBA is doing an investigation in the Clippers and circumventing the salary cap, and Mike Flores, Pablo, the NFL better hope Pablo Torre doesn't come knocking on their doors, right?
So that's why I saw tweets over the weekend about how the Bills are paying Josh Allen in the form of chicken wings. Or something.
Yeah,
okay, all right,
stuff like that. But
it's all right.
But it was like a no-show sponsorship deal for Kawhi, where like he had no obligations. It's just like, hey, we're just gonna pay you $24 million, allegedly.
You could see that. You could see that popping up. You got a sponsorship with a car dealership or something. You funnel money to the car dealership, take a little less on the money, and boy, all right.
So I say that to say this. My favorite tweet of the weekend was from Ricky O'Donnell. I need Pablo Torre to investigate how Ryan Poles got this extension.
Oh, geez, brother. Right. It's not based on merit. There's nothing merit-based about it. Unbelievable.
Hey, they got that banner for toughest preseason team in 2025.
Yeah, Ben Johnson wanted that bad, didn't he?
They got it. And then they got 52 by the Lions in week 2.
They poured it on. Did
you see the celebration? They did the stumble bum.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of petty in that. I like it.
But why? Is that a little bit weird? Who the
Maybe.
guy was it? Was it Kirby Joseph's? Like he could have went anywhere. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to go to Chicago. Like, this stuff happens?
We're gonna let him know.
Like, congratulations. Like, hey, you were a big part of us. You took the next step. Like, good for you. And we're just, I don't get it,
Jared Goff took the high road, I believe. I saw him say after the game, he got some booze. Ben Johnson got some booze. And I think Jared was like, yeah, and I don't think he necessarily deserved that. So it makes you feel better. Jared Goff.
Me and Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns with 5 incompletions as well, right? So,
you know, it's a
nice
pretty good day at the office.
I don't know about
who didn't have a good day at the office?
Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs. That's right.
Okay,
you made sure to mention he lost 3 straight games. You went back to last year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never happened in Patrick Mahomes' career. Yeah, it's 3 in a row.
That must be nice, huh?
Well, considering the success that he's had, I think he'll be okay. But I guess the question here is, is it time to panic? The Chiefs are 0-2. That's not a good spot to be. Is this as simple as get your receivers back? But like, are we ever going to live in a world where Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown are all together at the same time? Like, the offensive line questions are legit. There's nothing explosive about this running offense. Mahomes has led the team in rushing each of the first 2 games of the year. Travis Kelce with a catastrophic mistake, and he's barking at everyone else. Like, I mean, you want to talk about bad vibes? Go to Arrowhead and Kansas City. There's issues here.
Pick a stat. Pick an offensive stat. Pick a defensive stat. Pick a measure of success. You want third down offense? They're 26th in the league offensively. You want third down defense? They're 22nd in the league defensively. Red zone scoring? They're 28th in the league offensively. Red zone defense? They're 20th in the league defensively. You want scoring offense? 25th. Scoring defense? They're 19th. About the only thing they have done well is they haven't turned the ball over. They have 1 turnover in 2 games, but they haven't forced a single turnover in the first.
So the 1 turnover they have is the interception where it went through Kelsey's hands into Andrew Makuba.
Yes. So they're minus 2 in, or minus 1 in turnover differential. There's not been a lot of good thus far, and Chris Jones can chirp to Jalen Hurts all he wants about not having 100 yards passing. Eagles won the game. So
yeah. Is that really a thing?
I believe he said you don't even have 100 yards or something like that.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
As somebody who is firmly on Andy Reid, Don Shula watch, I'm not mad about 0-2. But you look at the schedule, and I do think your time to go is now. You're fortunate that you get Baltimore coming to you in 2 weeks. You get the Giants between now and then.
Well, I don't like that matchup against Baltimore, Kyle.
No, I don't like that matchup against Baltimore.
I don't care where that game's played. I don't like that matchup.
Then you're at Jacksonville. You should be able to. It's a Monday night game. You should be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps for that one, based off of what we saw with Jacksonville without Joe Burrow and 3 turnovers and still managing to not win the football game.
Travis Hunter, PI.
We'll take
big call.
We'll take that.
So I think most PI calls are ticky-tack. So,
but then they have Detroit the week after Jacksonville. And they go Raiders, Commanders, and then they're at Buffalo. Then they have the bye week, and then they're at Denver. After Denver, they have the Wagon Colts. which we're going to talk about in segment 3. They got another game against the Chargers, who've already beat them.
It's the first place schedule in the AFC. It's tough. I mean, that's tough, right?
There's a lot here. Yeah.
In a good division, right?
And you've already taken your L against the first place team in the opposite conference division that you've played. But Washington's still there. I would like Kansas City in the matchup based off the personnel, but not with how the two teams have played thus far this season. And I know the Commanders got smoked on Thursday against the Packers last week.
Yeah.
I still think they look better than what the Chiefs have looked like. So I just think it just feels like it's weird to say that complacency feels like a thing, but this is the battle, right? It's like the nucleus of who's been here has been together and they've had so much success, and you're towards the tail end of it and you didn't hit some of the personnel moves that you probably needed to in order to transition through it seamlessly. And now we're in this constant juggle of, are we ever going to get our personnel or our wide receivers out on the field together? There's some circumstantial stuff, but at the same time, there's some big picture stuff where it's like, I don't know that you could just brush this aside and say, oh, they'll be 11-6. They'll be just fine.
That might happen, right? And nobody's going to want to play the Chiefs in the postseason, right? They just they're able to figure it out. But I don't know if I'm comfortable going to complacency with the Chiefs. It can feel that way. Maybe they're just not that good in terms of the talent on their roster to where it's been maybe in years past, and they're undermanned, and it's a bigger uphill climb to win these football games. And they've had a lot of personnel missteps. You know, Brett Veach gets celebrated so much, but I think he's made a lot of mistakes as well. And this has been the darlings of the league. Everybody wants to beat them, right? It's a big measuring stick. They're playing more games than any other team, right? With all their deep postseason runs. I think there's some attrition, and I think there's some, target on the back type situation, and they haven't necessarily taken the steps personnel-wise to replenish. I think it's feeling like Eric Bieniemy's an important part of that coaching staff. It feels like Mahomes is his best when that guy's around. So I think some of the attrition that they've experienced and missteps personnel-wise, and of course injuries, but I think you have a high expectation with Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback that, okay, yeah, like maybe we have an offensive line issue or receivers aren't where we want it, right? You're talking about a Mount Rushmore quarterback in the NFL. You have high expectations for him to just pull it all together all the time. And, I think he's had his own issues. The vertical stuff is just not there. He continues to miss those throws, and he's not supported by a run game, like at all. And this was Andy Reid with Philly, right? At times as well, where whether it's a commitment or lack ability to do it, that's got to be a part of this, dude. Like this NFL is evolving, and it feels like the Chiefs they got to figure out this running the ball piece of their formula, or else I think it's going to be a bit more of an uphill climb.
Would you like to tell me who the Kansas City Chiefs leading rusher is through two games?
Well, Mahomes led the team in rushing yards both games. It's got to be Mahomes.
123 rushing yards for Patrick Mahomes. Who's the next highest player?
I don't know. Hunt, I guess. What is he averaging? 2 yards a carry?
Kareem Hunt with his 3.6 yards per carry has 13 attempts for 47 yards. That is second on the team in yards. He's tied with Isaiah Pacheco, who also has 47 rushing yards, but has it on 15 attempts instead of 13 attempts.
Man, it's nothing. They just don't have it.
So the draft dudes do math. I am breaking out the calculator for this one because there's no way I would hit this. They have 96 rushing yards as a team through 2 games through not Patrick Mahomes rushes. And that's across 30 attempts. So they're averaging 3.2 rushing yards on non-Patrick Mahomes runs through 2 games.
And Pat's still making crazy good plays off script. It's like that's still there. Figure out the rest of this operation. Like you should be able to put more stress on a defense. And situationally, I kind of trust them at times to figure it out, but I don't know about their formula right now. It's early, it'll be a different path for them. I'll be the last one to write them off, but there's been questions, and I think they got away with a lot last year, obviously, right? Everybody knows that. There was pixie dust on that team last year. Now you don't get those wins that stacked up, fortunately for you last year. Now you start taking losses, and people start taking the concerns about this team pretty seriously, and I think they've been around for a while now.
Yep.
Especially, it's a Chiefs standard too, right? We're not talking about a regular football team. This is the team that going into last year, won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls. They've been 3 times in a row the AFC champions. Like, you talk about the Chiefs differently, they've earned that. But I think that's where they're at right now.
Yeah, I don't think this is just a bump in the road. I think there's some bigger picture things at hand here.
All right. Speaking of big picture, Indiana Jones, Daniel Jones, the Colts 2-0. We'll get into that and a little bit more here on the other side of it. So folks, be sure to stick with us. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all turn to some funny places for advice, your barista, your barber, maybe even a random stranger in the bathroom. But not everyone is the right one when it comes to real support. That's why BetterHelp is here. With over 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 10 years of experience, BetterHelp helps you find your right match, someone clinically trained and credentialed to guide you through life's challenges. You can catch yourself venting to group chats or oversharing with friends who mean well, but they're not therapists. Having someone trained to help you work through tough situations can make all the difference. And BetterHelp is very flexible. You can join sessions online, from home, or on the go, which makes therapy fitting into your busy schedule very possible. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. Hey, football fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use our limited time promo code Touchdown. That'll get you an extra 25 cents per gallon back on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid real money just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out at any time to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. So don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now by using our limited time promo code Touchdown for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code Touchdown. Offer varies by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
So I lied about my favorite tweet of the weekend.
Okay.
This one comes from Ted Wynn.
Okay.
Oh, man, this guy is not going to be happy when he finds out. And it is a screenshot of a comment. I don't know what the user interface that he's on is. And it's a comment from Jared R. Carter. Somebody at The Athletic is asleep at the switch. The Colts lost that game to the Broncos. Wake up, sleepyheads.
Oh, no.
A major boo-boo.
Oh, no.
So he very clearly turned the TV off when they missed a 60-yard kick at the end of the game.
Wow.
And didn't see that they got called for leverage and a 15-yard penalty that allowed the Colts to re-kick the game, potential game-winning field goal, and win the game 29-28 at home against the Denver Broncos.
I know we want to talk Colts, but can we talk about the Broncos and kind of a goofy transition with their special teams coordinator? Like, they had to get Darren Rizzi in there, and they had a really good special teams unit in 2024, and they let that coach go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, this coach didn't make sure that guy knew about leverage.
Sean Payton's guy, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that, dude. I think that's goofy. That's goofy.
You know how this works.
I do, but
you should not expect anything different.
I'm still going to call it out when it's bad process and you get that result. Colts are 2-0.
The Colts offense, Joe, 7.1 yards per play against the Broncos. 473 yards of offense against the Broncos. Averaged over 8.5 yards per pass attempt against the Broncos. Averaged 5.2 yards per carry against the Broncos. 1 sack. The Broncos should count their lucky stars. The Colts only went 2 of 6 in the red zone.
Yeah. I feel somewhat vindicated here on me having concerns about the Denver team and, like, if they can play against teams like this. And, like, I thought their run defense was pretty soft last year. And I think obviously it was horrible in this game. I don't know what we could learn. Well, who did they play last week? They played Tennessee. They gave up 71 rushing yards last week. That's Cam Ward's first game in the NFL.
They sacked Cam 6 times, so you're behind the sticks the whole time.
That's not a real game. But the point being is, I didn't have a lot of trust in this defense to be able to handle these types of offenses, and I thought that was pretty evident. But I mean, this should really be about the Colts, right? And Daniel Jones playing really well. Jonathan Taylor looking like the star running back that he is. They have playmakers, right? And like, just get him the ball. And whether it's 50-50 balls down the field to Pierce or catch and run opportunities, like this offense looks really good.
The latest turn in quarterback reclamation projects is here, and his name is Indiana Jones. Last year it was Sam Darnold. This year it's Daniel Jones.
You're feeling good. You're feeling like we're here.
I mean, yeah. There's a coherency to what they're doing offensively, and I really like the supporting cast that the Colts have. They've got a physical supporting cast to go with what their investments have been in the offensive line, and the question was what the young guys are going to do. And I watched that team lay it on the Dolphins with supreme efficiency. Joe, they haven't punted in 2 games. And it's one thing when you play the Dolphins with a piecemeal secondary that everybody joined after June 1st or July 1st. But you played the Broncos, and you didn't punt. Again, you have not punted in 2 games. Daniel Field looks comfortable. They're leaning into some of the ball handling stuff that was supposed to be the Anthony Richardson stuff. They're running some RPOs off of it. They're having success on the run game. They look like a tough out. And Cam Bynum's been electric on the back end on defense for them, picking each of the first 2 games.
Feels like the strings that they pulled are good, right? Lou Anarumo to coach the defense, Daniel Jones letting some offensive line talent out the door, knowing that they had some guys ready to step in. The weapons are diverse. They're deep on the D line.
And here's do you want to do the thing real quick?
Are you about to declare the Colts as a playoff team?
No, I'm just going to go through the schedule.
All right.
At Titans next week.
3-0. I think boy, listen to Tyler Rowland talk about the Titans today. Just do it.
Oh God.
Just do it. Boy, he goes in hot on Callahan, man. It's good.
You can tell he's not a fan. Yeah. Putting it lightly.
Yeah.
At Rams, good test.
Good test.
Raiders at home.
Well, I like it.
Cardinals at home.
Like it.
Is there a worse matchup for the Chargers front 7?
You might be right about that, right?
Then they get the Titans again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Steelers at Steelers.
I don't know about those Steelers.
A little shaky, right?
I don't know about those Steelers, Cal Krabs. I don't know about those Steelers.
Staff was an all-time.
Oh, Lord. That was the anti-Steelers. That's the play that they make and win football games, right?
That happened to me one time when I was like 10. It was like playing Madden 02 or something like that. So I guess I would have been like 13. And there's a kickoff, and like I just ran my guy off, and I get like the ball stopped in play, so it was still technically live. And it was like a crippling experience for my gaming playing football. Never let it happen again. Like you got to know the rules here, right? You're in play, you touch the ball, it's a live ball.
Did you ever think of, in your entire life of watching Caleb Johnson at Iowa, did you ever think kick returner?
No.
Right.
I just figured out So do you remember the whole Wikipedia GPS Caleb Williams 40 time thing?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Found out somebody who's in like the fantasy community blocked me over that over the week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's always weird.
He's a big Caleb Johnson guy. Rough day to be a big Caleb Johnson guy.
Rough day. Good day to think Tyler Warren's good, though. But outside of that, I don't know about those teams.
And we just did that Colts schedule. We did not mention either the 2 games against the Jaguars that they have on the schedule as well. The question is how quickly do you get before people figure out the right buttons to push to negate the Daniel Jones, Shane Steichen progress, right? Because inevitably it ends up happening, and they've got house money because there's a lot of new right now. There's new layers with Daniel in a new system with good supporting cast around. But I look at this schedule and like even if they fade late, I think they're well positioned to stack a lot of wins here in the first 2 months. And they've already got a hard one done with the Broncos. Rapid fire. Give me a take from week 2.
How in God's green earth did the Cleveland Browns hold the Baltimore Ravens to 45 rushing yards on 21 carries and lose 41-17?
There was a interception return 62 yards inside the 10-yard line by Nate Wiggins. Roquan Smith had a 60-plus yard fumble return for a touchdown. And then Jake Hummel blocked a punt that set up another score.
J.J. McCarthy's played good for 1 quarter, and 7 quarters he's been bad.
You know, I'm glad we're on the same page there. That was
Had to Falcons defensive rookies, right?
Yeah, all the sacks, all the pressures. The secondary's alive.
Xavier Watts.
Imagine being surprised Xavier Watts is good because he ran a 4.6.
Billy Bowman making some big plays as well.
Yeah, man. Billy's a fun player, and it's the Raheem Morris effect, right? It's like, well, we got all these young guys in here. It's clicked. And now it's how much can we get the offense rolling a little bit more effectively? Because I think that'll be the challenge for the Falcons, but they should be very excited about the start.
Mac Jones, nice job.
We finally saw it.
I know.
We saw Kyle Shanahan, Mac Jones. It looked like a dream. Now they played the Saints.
The 49ers are pretty shorthanded offensively, too. I mean,
They are. We had the punt return, kick return doubleheader in Miami with back-to-back kick returns for touchdowns.
Pretty much everything from that moment on was just bananas, right? I mean,
it was a very frantic end of game. Yeah, we had Russell Wilson for
all
the moon balls against Dallas.
Jeez, don't miss you, Kyrie.
Have a good pass rusher in that game, right?
Yeah, it might be helpful. Justin Fields no good. Aaron Glenn's no good.
He's officially in concussion protocol this morning as well. So that's a bummer because that's a big piece of, if it's Tyrod Taylor behind that offensive line, it feels.
It's a better team with Tyrod Taylor. I promise you.
Oh,
Kyle, I can't go to war with Justin Fields, man. The sacks this man takes, he has no ability to function and drop back. He has accuracy issues.
You can't gauge ineffective drop back passers against your defense, Joe.
I don't know about this Bills defense. I've been watching the last couple of years, man. I hear you. Maybe 3 years ago, I'd have believed you on that, but I couldn't. If I was a Jets fan, I'd be hot about Aaron Glenn today. Let me tell you that. Absolute cowardly coaching.
We can get into that tomorrow when we get into all the 0-2 football teams and when they're going to win their first game of the year. Right now, there's 9. We potentially have a 10th joining us if the Texans lose to the Bucs tonight. So that's tomorrow on the show. We're looking at the schedules for all of the 0-2 teams through 2 weeks. We're going to say, there's the win. We're going to point to the win. That's next. Tomorrow on Locked On NFL Scouting. Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's it for us here today. We are out of here.